Hello, welcome back to the part 2 of the class membership tutorial request from Jessica 5548. And in the last tutorial, we were able to create a database, which is this, create a sample layout, and then added the modules or the activities to the project. And in this one, we'll continue and we'll add the database to the project. Since before X project, to add it first to the shared bundle, then to be able to see it in B4A, we go to the IDE, then we click under the B4X main page. We click the comment link to copy it. Code filming everything successful. So now if you check our files folder, you should see the membership DB. Good. Let's add SQL library here. I'll declare it in main in the process global in SQL as SQL. I also initialize it here. Oh, okay. Let's do that on the main page. In fact, let's move on to the main page. Now I should be there. We initialize on the main page. Let's create a sub. Initialize DB. So we'll call it here initialize DB. So let's copy it to internal storage. So if file dot exists, file dot directory internal. Okay, since it's a XUI project, let's change it to XUI.default folder. So let's go XUI.default folder. This one. If this is it, before A will point to internal, before I directory document, before J direct data. Okay. So if I exist before I, the name is let's check the name of the DB, membership.db, and as string, sorry, membership.db. If the file is not there, then we copy it from directory assets, the file name membership.db. We copy it to default folder, and let's give it the same name. So membership.db. You can log TB copy in it. Then you can also check if it's initialized, if not initialize it. If SQL.main.sql, since we declared it on the main tab, you have to call main first.sql. It's initialize equals to false. Then main.sql.initialize XUI.default folder, file name membership.db. Create if necessary, let's go through there. Log SAGB started. Okay, so our database is ready. The next thing we need to do is the dashboard, where from here after the splash screen the database is initialized, it will move to the dashboard. So the dashboard, we have a list view which will load the students. So let's create a sub. Let's call it load members. So you have to query the database and then I get the members. Then results as result set, results equals to main.sql.execute query. Select all TPL members. Let's add when status equals to active. So we want to only load all the active members. So do result.extract. So when we have results, then custom is add text to item. So you add the names to the custom is one. So let me just create a variable, the f name as string equals to result to get string. So we get the first name value from the database, publishing for last name, L name as string, L name, then we concatenate the two. So f name and as no. We just put space, then the first name and space, last name, so it will be concatenated. Then we have to add a return value. The return value, let's add the user ID, the primary key, which is ID, right? So results.get string, let's just get in since integer field ID. So that will be the return value for the customer list view. Good. I like to use the page appear. Let's say sub before X pages manager. Let's bring the appear before X. This should always be before X page appear. So load members. So this will load members as soon as we call this page and it appears. It will load members to the SQL, the custom list viewer. I hope this is clear. I think at this stage we can test it. Okay, so let's run see the logs so that the database will be copied and how our page will appear. So run. Here's the splash screen and our dashboard. And as you can see from the logs, we have our DB is copied and our DB is started. And because you don't have any item in the database, so you have empty list. Good. What you can do is you can first add notification so that you know that there is no item in the list. So CLB dot add text items. You can say no members yet. Okay, then this is it. 100. And load members. So in the load members, let's add CLV.claim. So I to claim. Now this will now make sense. No matter what it will run here, you will fix this later. Okay, so now let's work on adding members to the database. What we can do is when the add members load, let's also create the page appear. SAP B for X pages manager. When created page, let's add CMB gender dots. Set items. With the set items text list. Okay. So let's see. Harry. I see male. See male. With the dashboard. Now when you click the add, it will show that page. Your first page does show page. The ID is ID add. Good. So this one. So when we run, it should take us to this page, right? Let me see if the code I wrote is correct. Splash screen. Then here, when you click add, it should take us to add page. Good. Then we have the gender populated with male and female. Good. Now let's do the same thing for position. CMB position. Set items SEM. Preferred. Boys effect. Girls prefect. Oh, straight and ground. Go back here. Library perfect. You should add some positions to the position place as well. Right now, from there, when we click save back, when we click back, it should take us to the dashboard. So B for X pages dot show page ID dash, right? Let's show page and remove, so that it will move this page from the stack or push it to the back. And button save here, this is where all the code will work. So button save, it means you have to get the value of text, first name, so then F name as string, equals to there's flim.text, then element as string, there's flim.text, then h as element, also text h.text, then position as string, equals to semicolon get item. The selected item. I should select item. Then gender as string equals to CMB gender dot selected item. Good. So now we connect to the database and insert. So main dot SQL dot execute non-query to register non-query key. Insert into TBR members values. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fields. Or array as object, array as object. Okay. So the first thing I know to insert the database, and I open the database for us to see. Database CBR members. Okay. Okay, so then we have 8 rather. Okay, in addition to the ID, you have 8. So area subject. So you have none because the ID is a primary field, so we add null. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have a first name, last name, what follows, position, after position, age, gender, status, default, you should just add active, and then last, another is date added. Let's see with the dd as string equals date time dot date time dot now. So you get the date, but let's say the date format date time dot date format. We want the year first, and then month, then date. Want it in this format. You can move the date format through the created sub. It's supposed to be equals to okay. So DD in, so add the DD here. I think 1 question brackets. So okay. So after this, we just show a message box xui dot message box async rayon member added successfully create successful. So this is the add, right? And go to the dashboard, you have load members. So it means anytime the person comes back, this sub will run to automatically load members. Let's run a test. So add member, change colon Jones is age count 5. So you have a mistake here. So you apologize, voice preferred, and it's a male. Okay. So you save successfully, member added successfully. So the back, I have Paul Jones and our first member. Right. Good. Now when you click here, nothing happens, but you are supposed to load the Paul's details into this card. So let's prepare that as well. Custom view item click. Right. So let's get the value, which is the ID we are returning. So it means we have to use that ID to pull new information of this person from the database. Let's do that. Let's call it the single member as result set equals to main.sql.execute query. Okay. Select all from a TBO and base query ID equals to area subject. So ID be equal to the value we are receiving from the click, which is the ID we set. So we are passing this ID back to custom view to try to pull the information from the database for us. So when it's successful, then full name as string. So we put the first and the last name together. A single member dot get string first name, and then let's concatenate a space, and then add the last name single member dot get string L new. So that's our full name, right? Label name dot text should not be post for full name. Position, let me just redirect. Label positioning text should be equals to single member dot get string position. Gender label gender.text should we go to a single member.get string gender. The age label age should be equals to a single member.get youth age. So I think we also let's save, and then let's test it. Let me rerun. Having an error. And 14. Okay, I think there should be a string. see execute query to area string. Okay, so let's see if I run again. Here we have functions, voice prefix, male age 25. Our layout for the age, the hint text is showing first name, so let's change to age. So the adding is successful and showing is successful. Now let's do delete. For delete, what you can do is you can create a global variable here, then file to delete as, let's just make it string. Okay, so anytime we select this same value should be passed to that global variable, which is file to delete. So file to delete equals to the value we are receiving. Anytime we click on an item from the list view, we should also update this value. So we'll use this value for the delete. Okay, so let's write a query for delete. So main.sql execute. What to do is update. So update TPL members, set I think it's status database. Yeah, status equals to set status where ID equals to so we'll be adding to the status equals to the string again in active where ID equals to value to delete, so it will update our records and set this user to inactive, right? So after that, when we come back to this on the same page, so we just have to call the load members sub to reload the database and delete the person. So load members. Okay, so this is good. For updates, I want us still to use the add page. So what we can do is we can also have a variable here. Let's call it game. What operation as string. Okay, so when the operation is add, then the save should add. When it's updates, then it should update. So we'll go back here. This place we have to update this with this, which also means that in creation this page have to be ready. The add page. So instead of add page, you can say add page and create, so that this variable will be available. The page will be created even from this page, so that this variable will be available from the dashboard. We can pass our values to it. So what we can do from here is, but add, we say the page A has add. I say add, right, goes to before X pages dot get page which page ID add. Good. So we say page A dot. So we access this variable, the global variable created in, we access it. A dot operation equals to what? Good. We can also move this thing to update. Let's move all to update. So here we change to update. Yeah, we still show page add. So page add, when so here we'll do, let's you select part operation, case add, and then case update, right? So this is case add. The operation is inserting new member. Good. Then the case update, we'll have to use similar code, which is this one. When with the case update, we also need the value to update, which is from the custom region. That means the user have to select a person before clicking the update. Great. So to do that, we can just check the label on. We can check this value to delete. Yes, if value to delete is empty, so let's say it's equal to nothing, then return. That means no user is selected, so you can give a message UI dot message box async. Please choose a user to delete, right? Now user selected. So this one to start, but then if there's a user selected, then it can show the page. Then you should also have another variable, then ID to delete has, let me just also make it strong. So here we'll have to update ID to pga.id to delete also is equal to what value to delete. Good. So now ID to update. Let's change this name to ID to update. Yeah, coming to update. So the add page does both updating and adding. Well, the deleting is happening right on the dashboard. Good. Now that you have the values passed to the page and we open the page, it means here main.execute update TBL members set. So we have to now we are updating all the fields. Set first name equals to blah blah blah, comma, last name equals to I don't know, age equals to we don't know, position equals to we don't know, first name last name age, position, then gender equals to you don't know, where ID equals to you don't know. So let's bring this down. So the first one is first name, so it should be pick it from the variables we declare the F name. The second one, last name, the own name. The third one is age, so age. Fourth one, position. Fifth one, gender. Sixth one, so I think that is it. First name, last name, age, position, gender, where ID is equal to ID to update. So that's that. Let's run. Let's add another user. Clear these people as well. So we've written a coda to clear here in case the user is deleted. We should also, since it's deletion, we should also show a message box first before. So let's use xui dot message box. We use message box 2. And we copy the code. Delete file title. So then the question will be, are you sure you want to delete this user title? Delete yes and none. So wait for message box. If it's positive, it is yes, then we run this code, we delete the user, and then reload the database and clear. It is good. Okay, I think we are done. Okay, left with update. So this is Jones. Let's update Jones. So update, I think one more thing. When we come here, it should be able to load the previous informations before we update, right? Especially the first and last name and age. So let's do that code. Let's do it in PHP. So if part operation equals to update, then let's get the code from loading members. This one. From each function. I think the click is the one for the click. Single member, this one. So we use this same code here. So here value will be ID to update. So we have to update tests. Firstly, should be equals to this. That's splitting it, so we're not use a phone again. Then test class now equals to this. Then the next one will be age. The position in the rest will not load down since we are not using ID. We are not load down. So let's try it. Go back. So when I select journals, I say update. Should load ball journals 25. Good. So now if I change it to Paul Christ age 100, and now it's library prefect female, and I save. That give it out message box also. So copy. Email bad. Update successfully. So you should show message box is updated successfully. Then I think after the updates, you should clear the text boxes. Text is the text. Text out there, and there's first name of this swoop, and then let's re-update to 99. Then save. Remember updated successfully. The text box is cleared. If we go back, you need to see Paula Christ test. Okay, let's add new. I will win one bad down. Let's just see. Let's add another person. Good. Paula. I mean that down. TikTok. Let's delete Paula. I sure you want to delete this without. Yes, Paula is gone. I write them down. TikTok master. Thank you for watching and see you in the next tutorial. Bye.